Jenny,
Hey, Helen.
how have you found judging comedy in the writing for CWIP?
Well, it's very difficult, isn't it, Helen? Because you and I are very similar in so much that we're jealous of everybody else being funny, so we can't really stand it. So as soon as anybody does anything really good and funny, I kind of
But
get
you
a
know
bit
it.
twisted.
But
I do know it,
you
though.
say
I
that.
recognise it. We can both spot it.
You
We
say
have a
that.
nose for it. We're like comedy beagles.
We are comedy beagles, and so on the one hand, you now being a very respected writer as well, with knowing the comedy, you have a comedy instinct. You were saying, can you teach comedy?
Well, both of us have innate comedy, and we come from a generation of women that was pre any comedy workshops, any comedy courses and that sort of thing. We came onto the circuit completely wet behind the ears and found our way. I am very anti being taught comedy. I don't think you can. I think that people are born with funny bones. It's like a flexibility. You're born with 90% of it. You can work on the other 10%. And I still genuinely believe that, and this judging experience hasn't taught me any different. I think that some of these writers find writing comedy easier than others.
And you're recognising that because by judging the unpublished prize, you're looking both at the power of the writing and the potential of the comedy, aren't you?
They both, because this is a prize and we have to award on the merit of what has been presented. The only frustration has been there are some books that have potential, but because the skills aren't there yet, they've had to be pushed back. Because this is an award for writing, and for the work they have presented to the award, we found the best all-rounder. And that was totally, what's it called when everyone
unanimous.
agrees? Unanimous. It's not a word I'm used to
it's
saying.
It's not a word that we embrace.
I might have to go and look it up.
Didn't you tell me once that you're Marmite?
I'm so Marmite.
But you're not Marmite now. And what's exciting is I think you're in your prime as a writer.
I think Marmite has changed. I think Marmite's become a bit blander. I think they've taken some of the... It's just... Have you opened a jar of Marmite recently?
No.
It's not even dark brown anymore, for Helen. It's not that dark, sticky tar colour. It's just beige. You're absolutely right. It's got a bit vanilla.
So we are no longer a minority as we were, fighting for space as individuals.
We're still fighting.
We're still fighting. We've still got that. But I don't think the climate is one where we have to fight as much, certainly for new voices. Do you think that...
It's that you feel very much that you had to offer this, that you had to step forward and fill this gap. So obviously there still is a need to shine a light on women's writing, women's comedy writing.
I agree. And what's fascinating listening to you as a comedy practitioner as well as writer, this is a new term, comedy practitioner, but it's helpful because...
I'm like a comedy doctor.
You are a comedy doctor, and hopefully you're going to mentor people, going to force you into it. But we can get irritated, can't we, when we're told to laugh at something on the page and it isn't funny. You have a very strong sense of that as a comedian.
Much so, but I don't require to laugh out loud at something to know it's funny. I mean, I think sort of... I don't know of a book that's had me rolling around the sofa. Oh, actually, I do. I do know. But that was...
Is it on the list?
No. It was also on Audible or audio, and it had a lot to do with the performance. So we'll just take that out of the equation
on
for
the
now.
Page, you know whether things are witty.
Yeah, witty, definitely. I sometimes feel that I think that having had so much experience in comedy can actually be detrimental to judging an award like this, because you see scenarios coming up and you go, don't try and tell me this is funny, because I'm just not going to laugh. I'm going to resist this.
But why you're so good at this is because you have because you're always a writer anyway, and because your writing is so much, you're writing so much, you are quite unusual in that you both have both hats now, both as a novelist and somebody who knows
but I
comedy.
wouldn't attempt to try and be funny in my novels at all. There's no way I sit down to write a funny novel. No way whatsoever, because it's a relief for me not to try and be funny and just take that kind of totally out of the equation.
But it will just shine.
Occasionally,
but it will shine
accidentally
through.
funny. Yeah. There are funny turns of phrase, but there are very few comedy scenarios that,
Yeah.
and I think that is a danger with people writing funny books where they try to write a comedy scenario. Where I'm much more comfortable reading a funny book is when it's just witty on the page. There's a pace to it.
I agree. So the prize is to increase the visibility of both potential and established witty voices.
Yeah.
We know that Muriel Spark existed before the prize. We know that wit and women have existed in the past. Do you think there's a danger of shining a light, as with this awful phrase, this cliche, is that we're just going to get more mediocrity? We're just going to get people being more predictable because there are more female comedians now than our day.
Not in this prize, because I think that's your job to weed that predictability out and to sort of just go, no, that's not what we're after.
Yeah.
That's just cliche.
Yeah.
So we're
with you on the panel, we are very blessed. So cliches are discouraged.
Totally.
And
we
wit
want
is
originality.
encouraged.
Original wit is encouraged with the CWIP Comedy Prize. That's what we're after.
Okay, and with Jenny Eclair on the panel, we are going to achieve it, and we have. Thank you, Dame Jenny Eclair, OBE.
Well, thank you, Dame Helen Lederer, MBE, OBE.
Doctorate.
Surgeon.
Twice.
Yeah, well, I've only got one.
No, I've got two.
Well, you're older than
No,
me.
it's face down,
Stop it.
please. Stop it.